They're swapping out black immigrants for white ones. They want your vote, but they'll deport your family. Stop scrolling. What you're about to hear is something they hope you never put together. Hold two headlines in your mind at the same time. On their own, each one is troubling. But side by side, they expose something deeper, something that should make anyone with faith question everything they've been told about who America protects and who it discards. Just weeks ago, the U.S. government revoked temporary protected status for 350,000 Haitian immigrants. Think about that number. 350,000 people. Men, women, children. People who have lived here legally for years. People who work, pay taxes, raise families, attend church, and contribute to their communities. With a single decision, their legal right to stay was erased. They were told to prepare for deportation. These aren't undocumented migrants. These are people the U.S. government itself allowed to stay because their country was unsafe, devastated by earthquakes, hurricanes, political instability, and violent unrest. For over a decade and a half, they built lives here. And now, with one policy shift, that stability is gone. Now hold that reality in one hand. In the other hand, consider this. During the same time period, the same administration introduced a refugee priority program for white South African farmers, Afrikaners, who claim persecution. While the total refugee cap was set at just 7,500, one of the lowest in modern history, a portion of those limited spots was reserved with priority for this group. So while black immigrants are being pushed out, white immigrants are being given a pathway in. And if that contrast isn't enough to raise concern, add this. Enforcement actions have intensified. Reports describe aggressive raids, communities living in fear, and tragic incidents where civilians, not criminals, were harmed during operations. At the same time, a key legal pathway, the diversity visa program, was eliminated. For decades, it provided opportunities for immigrants from underrepresented countries, many in Africa and the Caribbean. Tens of thousands of visas each year. Gone. No replacement. Now step back and ask the question that rarely gets asked. Who decides which lives are protected and which are disposable? Who determines who deserves refuge and who faces removal? Who gets welcomed and who gets targeted? For people of faith, these aren't just political questions. They're moral ones. There's a passage in Matthew 25 verse 40 that says, "Whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me." It's a powerful idea, that how we treat the most vulnerable reflects who we are at our core. So what does it mean when families are separated? When long-term residents are forced out? When doors are closed to some and opened to others? Let's make it real. Imagine a Haitian nurse in Miami. She's worked in healthcare for over a decade, caring for patients, paying taxes, raising children who were born in the United States. Those children are citizens. But now she's been told her status will expire. What happens next? Do her children stay without her? Do they go to a country they've never known? Multiply that story hundreds of thousands of times. That's what policy looks like on the ground. Now place that next to a system that creates exceptions and priorities for others, based not just on need, but on narrative, politics, and perception. This isn't just about immigration. It's about consistency. It's about fairness. It's about whether systems apply principles equally or selectively. And historically, this pattern isn't new. From the Immigration Act of 1924, which set quotas favoring certain regions, to earlier exclusion laws targeting specific groups, U.S. immigration policy has often reflected broader social and political biases. Over time, many of those policies were changed or repealed, but the debates and tensions never fully disappeared. Even in more recent decades, different groups of migrants have been treated differently depending on context, timing, and political priorities. So when people look at what's happening now, they're not just reacting to isolated decisions, they're connecting it to a longer history. For people of faith, scriptures often emphasize compassion, hospitality, and justice, especially towards strangers, refugees, and the vulnerable. Passages in Leviticus and Deuteronomy speak about treating foreigners with dignity. Matthew 25 frames it even more directly. How you treat others reflects your values at the deepest level. that doesn't provide easy policy answers, but it does raise hard moral questions. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about laws or borders. It's about people, families, communities, and whether a nation's actions align with the values it claims to uphold. History shows that societies are often judged, not just by their strength or wealth, but by how they treat those with the least power. So the question isn't just what is happening. The real question is, what does it say about us?